What's up guys, JV2017 here, and today I wanted to share my impressions of the Doom closed beta, which happened over this past weekend. I got about 5 hours in of closed beta time on the Xbox One, and I wanted to share my experience with you guys. Before I begin, I think it's important to note my experience with the genre as a whole, and for me, I have little to no experience with Doom / Quake / Unreal Tournament type FPS games. I just did not play this type of game growing up. I think it was a little before my time in terms of that kind of game. So you're getting the fresh perspective of somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience with this franchise. So I apologize if I insult your intelligence while explaining exactly what's going on with this game. If I was the person in charge of naming this beta, I would have called it a closed multiplayer beta, because that's all that was offered. However, in the full game, there's a full single player experience, as well as this cool new map building thing called Snap Map, I believe, where you can create your own kind of arenas and challenges for other people to try out. And so this is a multifaceted game. It's not a multiplayer only game, which is, I think that's important to distinguish, because in games like Battlefront that are pretty much primarily multiplayer, there is kind of a co-op experience there, but it's very small. This is something that's going to have a multifaceted kind of mode experience from a $60 purchase. All of that being said, this was a beta that offered about 8 weapons. I'm not sure if that was all of the weapons. It offered 2 different multiplayer maps, and it offered 2 different multiplayer game modes, and that was all. I'm not saying there wasn't enough in the beta. I'm just telling you guys exactly what was going on. There were about 8 weapons to choose from, I believe, and then a bunch of armor customization options and unlocks. You could kind of see how the progression system was going. I got up to the maximum of 15 fairly quickly, and then I kept playing beyond that. Some huge things to point out with the way this game plays, especially compared to a lot of the more modern multiplayer, centric games. I would say this is still a multiplayer centric game, but of course, like I said, there's those other components of the game. This has very quick movement. As you're seeing me right now, I'm running around. This is the normal movement speed, and I kind of would call this quick just because it feels like you're sprinting around, but you don't have to click a button. There's only one movement speed, and that is sprint. You're running around everywhere, and it is a lot quicker than most multiplayer games, I would say, out there. This has a lot of implications. Mainly, it's harder to hit enemies, and it's harder for enemies to hit you. But they do give you overpowered weapons, and so one of the main weapons you can use is a rocket launcher. And immediately when you think of rocket launcher in video games, you think that's the power weapon, at least in Halo, which Halo was inspired by Doom. That's a popular thing that people say, and it's very much true. You can very much tell that a lot of Halo's elements were definitely borrowed, taken from Doom. Not stolen, but borrowed. I don't think they stole them. I think it was just inspired by this game because it was a good mechanic, right? So you have all these overpowered weapons. You have weapon drops on the map. So in the map, the only weapon drop I think that was in the beta was the Gauss cannon, and it was very powerful. Just one shot, huge explosion radius. And so you have all these overpowered weapons, and they seem fairly balanced. I didn't find one weapon was overly more powerful than others. Some were easier to use, and what you're seeing a lot in this gameplay is me using the lightning gun, which was just a short range or medium to short range weapon that had 2 different firing mechanics. One would chain lightning between enemies. It was kind of like an AoE effect, and one was just a direct lightning that would just burn down enemies very quickly. And so all these weapons feel awesome, overpowered, and they can all just obliterate your enemies. And that's kind of the whole tone of this multiplayer. You just blow up your enemies. Blood and guts are flying everywhere. Chunks are going all over the ground. If you shoot somebody with the super shotgun and their health is low, to a point where they will die, they will explode. And it sounds like people just smashed a bunch of watermelons against the ground. I mean, the noises in this game are kind of gruesome, but at the same time satisfying. You can definitely tell that they appealed to the original appeal of the Doom franchise. Something else that stood out to me is the health, ammo, and armor pickups. You usually don't see pickups in a modern multiplayer game. Obviously, this is based on one of the OG multiplayer games, right, with Doom, but you don't see that, and they stayed faithful to that. This isn't like some kind of reimagined, reboot. This is a faithful reboot, and so a lot of the things that you would expect from Doom to be in the game are still in this game. Also, something that's super important that I'm very glad they didn't hop on the bandwagon with, like Halo 4, for example, was kill streaks. Kill streaks are not in this game. There's no constant hunt for a kill streak. There's no huge thing that you can earn by doing really, really well. And so there is a place. There is a place for those kind of games, and it does not fit Doom, and it's not in this closed beta, and it's not going to be in the actual game. And I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy they didn't try to appeal to modern audiences with that, cheap ploy, honestly. I mean, Halo 4, man. I really hated that. I really hated that they did that in Halo 4, and it really ruined the Halo experience for me. This does not ruin the Doom experience. There are no kill streaks. There's nothing like that you're constantly worrying about. It's just going out and getting a lot of kills or really paying attention to the objective. It's very focused in that sense. Overall, I had a lot of fun playing Warpath. That's the gameplay you're seeing right now. It's just a moving kind of king of the hill objective. It constantly moves throughout the map. If you're in the zone, you get points, and you get a point for every second you're in it. And I think the winning amount is 250 points. So 250 seconds in that objective by one team will win it. Personally, I've never had like a supernatural skill for slaying. I'm not much of a slayer. I like to play the objective and get my points that way, and you can do that in this game. I found myself near the top of the leaderboard because I was always laser focused on the objective. That was my number one thing. It wasn't to kill people, it was to make sure I was earning points for my team, and I was greatly rewarded for that, and I really do appreciate that. Before I wrap up the video, one more thing I really enjoyed and appreciated was the demon mode, becoming a demon, and there was only one demon available. Kind of disappointed about that, but again, this is a beta, and it was the Revenant. And so the way you would get the Revenant, I'm not sure how it went in TDM because I played mostly Warpath. I enjoyed that objective-based mode more, but the demon, it didn't seem to be connected to a kill streak. It almost seemed random. It would drop at a certain point in the map, so it was like a weapon pickup in that sense. So you would just go and get it, and then in Warpath, if somebody died with the demon, they would drop like a demon rune, and you could just go up and pick up the demon and become the demon. So it wasn't tied to a kill streak, it wasn't tied to anything like that, and it was really fun to become the demon. Also, glory kills. You just saw me get glory kill right there. That was embarrassing. But glory kills are this super melee thing. I think you have to double tap the melee button in order to pull one off. And they were vicious. They were just exploding people's heads with their fists, curb stomping, and tripping people up, and then smashing their head into the ground. It was a lot of fun. Now to the golden question, am I going to buy this game after playing the beta? And the answer for me is no. It's not because I don't like it. It's not because I don't think it's a good game or it's competent. The multiplayer is very good. They basically took their basic formula from the past, made it playable on the next-gen consoles. That's a fun thing. I understand all of that. Maybe it's because I don't have the nostalgia of the game, but there are also so many other games coming out in the next 3 months that I just can't possibly see realistically how I'm going to be able to fit this game into this tight, packed schedule of video games. Over the next 3 months, there are some fantastic games coming out, and I don't know, I don't see myself fitting more than 5 to 10 hours into that schedule of playing Doom, just to play Doom. Why would I want to play Doom over these other games? And again, that's not to say like this is not deserving of praise or it's not fun. I had fun with the 5 hours that I played, but I'm fortunate enough to have a place that rents video games near me. I don't see myself playing this game for more than 5 to 10 hours, as I said. So for my $8, hey, I'm probably going to go rent Doom, play a little bit of the multiplayer, beat the story, and then I'll be done with it. That is just me. Hey, maybe if they added a tutorial mission to show off the single player, maybe a bit of a snap map experience with some tools to make your own maps and scenarios, that would have attracted me more. But just from this closed multiplayer beta, it wasn't enough for me to run out and pre-order the game. Even though I say no pre-ordering, do not pre-order, it's bad for the industry. Anyways, guys, those were my thoughts on the game. Share all of your thoughts in the comments below. If you played the beta, what was your experience, and do you plan on buying the game? If you didn't play it after watching my video, does this convince you on buying the game? Does it make you think, maybe it's not worth my time, there's too many other games like me? Let me know all of what you guys are thinking in the comments below. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more Fallout 4 content coming on my channel this week. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.